It's showtime.
Right! Hello! It's me, Matty. Unfortunately, the dreaded disappearance of Matty has struck again this episode. So at one point I just cut out. However, I managed to get my lines in, so it's all okay. But I do disappear for the second half of this episode. I'm so sorry about this, but as always, thank you to everyone who's listened, and I'll leave it to Charlie.
Hello and welcome back to the New the World podcast. I'm Charlie and I'm joined this week by my co-hosts, as always.
Harry.
Matty.
Ben.
This week we have another guest, so why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a fun fact about you?
Hi, my name is Ethan, and I play Alex Brightman's Beetlejuice at Beetlehouse LA.
Woo!
Oh, nice. Well, okay.
Very good.
That's amazing. By the way, podcast listeners, I knew about like 10 minutes before who the guest was, because we have to like decide that every week. And then I come on and Ethan is here, and I'm like, and he's like, oh, you know, I just worked at, I'm in California, worked at Beetlehouse LA, by the way. And it's like, motherfucker. Okay, flex. We love that. I mean, it's a Beetlejuice podcast, so perfect.
Professional cosplayer.
Yeah, like you are paid to do that. That is like our dream.
Get paid to be weird. It's perfect.
Yes. Okay, give me a minute. So let's get started. First up, we have the deets. Now, as per usual, there's not much to talk about Broadway-wise since it's closed, but there's been a lot of talk on TikTok regarding the recent shadow banning of many creators. At first, it only really affected certain hashtags and words/phrases, like the cosplay hashtag was a bit screwed for a while, but now it's been confirmed to have spread to the LGBT community and black creators, as well as many others. And I think also more recently I saw that like the George Floyd hashtag was taken down. Yeah. And I mean, this is not insanely surprising, because there was like this whole article a while back about how and also because I've been on TikTok and this is pretty evident that they suppress black creators and gay creators and people who are maybe like fat or something, and they were like, their argument for that was to avoid like bullies, but in actual fact, which is like, that does happen, which is shit, because people are garbage, but it doesn't mean that you should just not let anybody see anybody's creativity or videos or whatever they're doing. But yeah, that's eek. Have you guys been affected by that, or what have you heard about it, or what is something that you think particularly is like just very icky, or a way to combat that, or stuff like that, like the blackout, like talking about that?
Yeah, we talked about this at the end of last week's episode as well, because I brought it up and it's got worse. Because we were all talking, many people, but it's just gone crazy, and it's not fair, because so many great people are making so much great content, and then we're just not doing the thing, and no one's... We do it because we love it, and we want people to see it, but if the people aren't seeing it, then we feel unappreciated, and it's the circle of life, and it's really annoying.
The thing I'm noticing is that it's people I follow. So people who I've actively gone to their page and gone, yes, I want your content in my life. I'm going onto my following page, and then I'm seeing videos of them being like, hey, it's weird that no one's seeing my videos. And I'm like, yeah, I've not seen a video of yours for a couple of months. And then I go to their page and they've been posting as regularly as they always have been. I've just not been seeing it because it's not been showing it to me. I don't follow too many people on there, and I'm not seeing it, and it's like, please, that's the whole point, right?
Yeah. It's so stupid. I mean, like, yeah, the original thing I think we were discussing was the cosplay hashtag, and how I was originally I found out about that. I was doing like a Manny from the yellow guy from Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared cosplay is a bit of fun, and I was like, oh, this is weird how this isn't getting much attention, because I was like, you know, the Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared stuff fandom seems to be reviving, and people like that kind of like weird creepy thing. So I was like, oh, that's a bit weird. And I think it was because I was hashtagging everything with cosplay, and then somebody was like, actually stop doing that. And then when I stopped doing that, it helped a bit. But it's also just like, it's just dead ass racism and homophobia, like suppressing the messages and the creativity of black creators or queer people. And it's not the argument of like protecting from bullying is such bullshit, because it's like you're existing as like a minority is like you're already you live like that, like it's your choice to.
You're aware that's going to happen.
We're so aware.
Yeah.
So like you've got to just like. You shouldn't be suppressing what people post, especially because it's not even that they're like, oh, I don't think people will like it. It's that people aren't seeing it. Like, if you have low views as well as not many likes, like, it maybe would make some sense if it was, like, loads of views and not many likes, and therefore they stop, whatever. But genuinely, just, like, it's not being shown to enough people. And, like, it's bullshit. And there's just so many, and also, like... There's many jokes that's been made about this, but this is not to do with the hashtag thing, but also just the way that TikTok works, which is infuriating, is the same recycled joke, or like boomer humor, or relatable humor, and like being like, oh my god, when you go outside and walk your dog and you make awkward eye contact with the neighbor, or something like very cheap stuff that, and often like stuff, anything that is a little bit funnier is stolen from John Mulaney or something, like, with blatant lack of credit. And it's just, like, there's some people who just do guys who put, like, a towel on their head and impersonate their mother, and they get, like, 400,000 likes, and, good for them. But it's a joke that I've seen 50 times. And then, especially with cosplayers who take the time to make... costumes and stuff with people who are spreading really important messages, especially about George Floyd, people trying to adhere to the blackout on TikTok, which I think we discussed before. I didn't even know was a thing because it was not coming up, and then somebody commented and they were like, oh, you shouldn't be posting today, and I was like, oh shit, like I didn't even know. Of course I wouldn't. And just like it's something that like very easily you could just be like, oh, I don't want to support it anymore. But it's a kind of a livelihood for a lot of people, and also it can be a really nice thing and a creative thing. Like when I go outside, I'm very much pushing myself all the time in isolation and in general to be productive and be making something. So like if I go on a walk and I'm like, oh, all I'm doing is a walk today, but then I make like a video of like, which I do a lot, of like me walking around, and a video of me walking the forest or the sky or something, and then it's like I have made something, I've created something, and because I'm a creative person, then you feel kind of better, and that's kind of like a nice sometimes. Or that you've done a bunch of makeup, and then you've done that for like my creature makeup, that was 4 hours, which was...
Oh my god, your creature, I hated it was so good.
Thank you.
Love your creature.
Thank you very much. Being bald was quite fun, but also for some reason I think I'm like the most attractive when I look disgusting, like scars all on my face, bruising, or like clown makeup. I'm like, this is the sexiest I've ever been. And that stuff like that, and it doesn't get it just doesn't get the attention. You guys complimented me, and then I just lost my train of thought, but I do appreciate it. But it's like, I think we also discussed of just in general to combat that you should try and support the creators you love and hype up their stuff and comment and copy link and share for the algorithm and all that kind of stuff, because it is
absolutely.
I've also been seeing there's a I've only seen a couple of videos of it so far, so I don't know if it's an official thing or if it's just people getting upset and going for it. But there have been quite a few cosplayers I've seen where they've done their video and then the hashtag is just cosplay. There's no information. It's just them doing like a dancing video to a popular song. And then they've literally hashtag cosplay life, all of that in the tags. And then on the screen, just the words cosplay. And I think... like, it's cool, and I'm glad that I've seen it because it means that it's getting through. But I wonder how many people are actually contributing to that kind of movement, and it's just not being seen because, again, a bit like Blackout, it's just people aren't seeing it because it's not being shared or spread by TikTok.
Something I've also seen with like the Blackout thing is that TikTok started to shadow ban anyone that partook in that. So even if you just change your profile picture to like the I can't actually remember what the thing's called, the Black Solidarity Hand, I think it is.
Yeah.
Or the Thing of Power.
Yeah.
They've started completely shadow banning creators that do that. I think especially like for LGBT creators, because it's coming up to Pride Month, it's going to really affect them as well.
Have you seen the I don't know what it's called, but the Pride
it's God. genuinely slightly scared for that now.
Yeah. I think I have very little context, so maybe somebody who has the thing of it could explain kind of to people.
Yeah, I had a post on my story about it. It's this. I think it started on Reddit.
Of course,
4chan.
Of course.
4chan.
Yeah.
Well, one of those sounds very appropriate.
One of them. Let me just find it. Yeah, Prideful. It's an anti-LGBT sort of thing started on 4chan that's planned a cyber attack on members and people who support the LGBT community for all of Pride Month, and targeting people mainly on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. They're saying they're going to create fake accounts to bait LGBT users, posting disturbing homophobic, transphobic, etc. content. And they're calling it Operation Prideful. So it's trying to encourage homophobia, transphobia, all of that stuff.
Gross.
And they're saying, like, trying to encourage people to make your accounts private and remove any indications of being LGBT on your profile, which, like, for Pride Month, people won't be wanting to do that because it's a month all for us.
No.
Well, yeah. It show.
Well, it should. It's for Pride, and it's for, as, you know, as like a queer person, it's a thing that's super powerful, as well as another thing going around about the rainbow with the NHS, and I entirely agree that is like erasure, dead ass of that. Mm-hmm. I'm so for the NHS. The government is garbage, and they are not giving enough funding. They are not giving enough support. And suddenly when fucking Boris, bleh. Suddenly when he gets corona and he has to be a part of the NHS, and he probably didn't get the beautiful upper class privileged deal that he normally would get because it's so overflown with people, that he was then like, oh, maybe we should be doing stuff for the NHS,
stupid.
Which is so disgusting to me, because so many people base everything what they have empathy on their entirely personal experiences. Because I absolutely have empathy for black people dealing with all the shit they have to deal with, and groups that I'm not a part of, because I'm a decent human being, as I'm sure everybody can agree. But then, and then the NHS deserves so much support and everything. And the little, the actual rainbow, like the not the flag, but the actual rainbow is totally fine. But then when people are now literally rebranding the pride flag with the actual specific colours that all have specific meanings to it, not the rainbow colours, though very similar. I understand the confusion.
The rainbow thing has, I think it's 7 colours in it. The pride flag's got 6, and they're just like, I've seen pride flags being sold with just the NHS logo on them, which that's not what it's for.
The main one was when the Pride bus was rebranded.
Ooh. Yeah, no, I've seen the Pride bus round my town's been rebranded. I can't, no.
No. Because also, like, the government is very, like, not entirely advocating for queer people or their rights already. So, like, of course it would make sense for them to just be like, how about we just get rid of the flag and take away some incredibly important history. And way too many people are getting pressed about that, so that's wonderful, because I know exactly who to block. And stuff like that is happening. And I think if you are, like, more sensitive or susceptible, and also if you're quite a young person, like, it's not, you maybe should private your account at least for a while, which is bullshit, but just for your own safety, because people can be cruel. Yeah. Luckily the most cruel thing I've had is homophobic wise was this guy was like, oh, you wearing nail polish, you poofter. And I went, oh, this is the best day! This is the best day! Because, first of all, that's, like, my favourite word. And then also, when I had been watching League of Gentlemen, there's this guy called Edward, of Edward and Tubbs. Ethan, that's another British show that you should absolutely watch. Please do. And he walks in, and it's a police officer who's looking for, like, a missing guy, and he goes, oh, I'm looking for a young boy. And then Ethan comes up and he's like, poofter, eh? And he's like, a miscommunication thing, but it's just very funny. But just so many people are just, like, weirdly slightly homophobic. I mean, luckily that's the most of it I've gotten. But the fact that, especially during Pride Month, that people are still this ignorant and stupid, because this is something also what people are trying to use to erase the struggles of black people during people talking about George Floyd and police brutality, of them being like, well, it's not as bad anymore. Racism isn't as bad now. And, like, to an extent, sure, But we're not talking about that right now. Like, it's still horrendous. Ridiculous.
Just that so much less of it's televised. Televised? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Shown by media. It's like only things where someone dies because of it.
Yeah.
That they'll be like, still around.
And the
we know.
Yeah, and the police weren't even going to be fired, let alone charged before
they were fired.
Media.
And
no, they
like,
were now.
No, it's not murder. Yes, it is.
It is. They were now, but they weren't going to be originally. It was only because of the outrage. They were like, well, we've given them a warning, and the guy also had 13 other counts of misconduct. And it's like, dude, after one, you should not be a cop anymore. And it's just, it's ridiculous. They protect the system over civilians, which goes against the idea of the system, though in actuality it's terrible.
Upside down. So have you heard about Trump's thing, how he was saying Twitter was restricting his freedom of speech because they were banning tweets that were supporting violence? Like,
what?
Oh, yeah.
Against Twitter's guidelines. I love it. It's so dumb.
So he's like, I really want to talk about violence right now. And I
mean, did you not see his tweet then?
I don't interact with this man.
Okay. So I follow a Twitter account called Unfollow Trump, where it just tweets everything Trump tweets, but you don't have to follow Donald Trump, which is great. And
God's word.
Anyway, he tweeted basically saying like when the looting starts and the shooting starts, which is horrendous. And
it's
no,
the purge.
Yeah,
literally.
And so Twitter basically just put a little content block on it saying this contains upsetting content. View your own discretion, that kind of thing.
Fair enough.
And then all I saw from it was this morning people sharing it, being like, we're about to find out exactly the second Donald Trump wakes up, because he will wake up, he will look at it, and he will react in some way.
That's so true.
And then he's signed like some weird deal. I don't know what it is, but it's like stopping Twitter from being able to do such things. And come on, man, like you literally
go on,
go.
So essentially what that stupid little tantrum that he was throwing is saying is that he gets to sue the companies if they essentially stop conservative voices.
But they're not. They didn't delete it. They just put a warning.
Not.
They would not only
a warning.
Oh, but they put a warning. Not only should he be silenced and dead. I hate him. But they're just like, by the way, he's talking about shooting people, and it's like also the riots and the lootings, from my understanding of them, fucking justified. Of that, they would refuse to sell milk to the people who had been tear gassed at the George Floyd protests, which. What? And then also a lot of their profits were going to the police force, and after years and years and years of this happening, and then also like 3 or 4 very, 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 very recent, probably more, accounts of police brutality, especially against black people. Fair enough that they're probably not happy that a lot of funding is being put into the police force when they're not doing anything to help, especially with lack of money and resources going into like hospitals right now. So like I don't think I think fair enough that they were just like, hey, we're gonna fuck shit up for a minute, because sometimes the peaceful protests, people don't listen to the peaceful protests all the time. And then also when they are peaceful, the police put tear gas on you anyway, and it's just like if it's something that is against the police, or is like, the whole thing is that you're supposed to be protecting civilians, regardless of if they hate you. That's not your job.
Yeah.
You can't have a personal grudge with somebody. You can't just go and arrest somebody because you don't like them, or if you have differing opinions. You're supposed to be this neutral body that if somebody goes, hello, I am in danger, you should be able to help them. You should be able to fight for human rights, and therefore fight for their right to freedom of speech. Because often when people talk about freedom of speech, they're talking bullshit. They're like, I want to have freedom of speech to say garbage and hateful things that incite violence or incite just meanness, just like, and it's never used. Nobody ever says freedom of speech when they're about to say something like really nice. Like it's never that. It's just it's so ridiculous. And there's so much stuff going on, and as if we didn't have enough this year. You know, it's not even halfway through the year as if we didn't have enough going on. It's
so fucked up.
I saw a post. It was on TikTok, but someone had taken a screenshot and then done like the background thing. Where it's like a tweet from 2015 where someone tweeted saying, "I'm a time traveler from the year 2020. Enjoy 2016. It's the best it's going to be for a while." And I was like,
"Oh God,
what?"
Jesus, no. I miss summer 2019 very badly. On a lighter note,
I just miss ordinary life so much.
Yeah. On a lighter note,
a while ago, I'd be so willing to take my A levels right now if it meant seeing other people.
Yeah.
Oh no!
I'm too stupid for that. I think I would. I don't know what I would pick if it came down to that, but I'm very, very grateful as one of the things that I'm not taking my exams right now. On a lighter note, though, I found all of my summer button downs, so I am absolutely living my my dad chic life with going out in my.
That's such me. I've done that too. Just like, I want more dumb Hawaiian shirts. I don't have them.
I don't have any yet.
You don't have any? Get in the
Harry, come on.
Yeah.
Get on the gay agenda.
Yes. I found a website. I'm on it.
Good.
Amazing.
Good. No, they're absolutely saviors.
Cool. Okay.
Matty?
Right. Yes. Sorry. Right. So next up, we have a little bit of time to find out more about our guest, Attic Chat, or as I like to call it, interrogation time. So we all answered these questions in episode 1. So let's start off. How did you get into the world of cosplay, Ethan?
So ever since I was a little kid, I was always fascinated with costumes and dressing up. Do you guys remember Batman, the animated series from the 90s?
Oh my goodness, yep, I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, when I was a kid, I didn't want to be Batman. I didn't want to be Joker. I wanted to be Detective Gordon. So I'd run around in a little trench coat with a little fake mustache on. And look at me, I'm stopping criminals. And then from there, just kind of grew. So.
Nice. Oh, that's me.
Awesome.
Sorry. Do you have any funny stories from being a cosplayer or something funny that happened to like at a con or filming or something like
that? Let's see. I've never been stepped on more. I'm 6'2", but wearing Alucard to Anime LA.
Oh, nice.
That freaking coat. As soon as they step on that coat, you go, and we're done.
Oh, God. Oh, no. I mean, there's just, everybody running around. I think that's probably just like target. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll get you. Have you
love...
No?
But you love flowy coats. You love these dramatic entrances, but...
Absolutely.
Terrible for crowded spaces.
Yeah.
Is anyone else hearing Take That?
Where?
No.
I think
it's that Take That concert tonight, and all my family's now gone and watched it.
Oh, amazing.
I can just hear it and them singing.
Wait, how is that working? Are they just live streaming it, or what? I
think so.
Are they quarantined together?
Yes. No, they're not quarantined together. I think they're doing it Zoom style.
Oh, God.
With Meerkat Movies in the bill.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, that's so fun.
That's really fun, but that must be hell on the sound engineering team to sync that up.
Oh, my God.
Oh, God, that would be so bad.
I really hope they did. I really hope they didn't think about that. I really hope they just kind of were like, oh, we'll just do a Zoom call. We'll just live stream.
Yeah,
and they do it, and they try to do the harmonies, and it's just all over the place.
It's like the lag from the videos.
Oh my God. No, that would be way too much fun. There's so many like content things of like Zooms. Have you seen the Zoom adverts?
Yes.
Oh my God. Are you not getting those in America, Ethan?
They're probably different, or I just don't pay attention.
Fair enough. It's just like on some YouTube videos of like these 4 like suburban mom-looking women who are like drinking wine. Yeah, who are like drinking wine, or they're just kind of like, look, or they sit for like 30 seconds and then they go, how about another quiz? And then everybody's like, no. Which I don't know what they're advertising.
God, I've been made to do so many quizzes by my family. So bad at them.
I haven't done a single quiz.
We're doing them. Quiz time.
Isolation is not the time when I'm going to use a single. I've never had a single thought, and I will never start. I will not start now.
Now's not the time for thought.
No.
My mum did
Brain
like
empty. No thoughts.
no thoughts. Beetlejuice Kinney writes no thoughts.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the third question, I can't see it on the script, so I'm just going to take it.
Oh, sorry.
I found it on another script.
Screenshot it.
It's all good. So what advice can you give to someone who wants to start cosplaying?
What advice? Just do it. Find the character that you vibe with, and then even if you think the costume is bad, it's not. Put something together. If you want to be, just why not Detective Gordon? Go get that trench coat from Goodwill. Go find a mustache from a costume store or a piece of paper. Whatever makes you happy, just put it together, try it on, and then go from there. You can always improve. You can always add stuff. You can always take stuff away you don't like. It's definitely worth it to get in. It's a great self-esteem boost. It's a lot of fun.
Nice. I mean, we were mentioning at the beginning of how very, very jealous I believe we are that you get paid to do that at Beetle House.
Absolutely.
So, like, I'm interested to see, like, what was the audition process? Did they give you material, or will they just, like, come in and do some improv? Or, because obviously it's a setting of, like, people are drinking, people will be, you have a chat, it's not like a default. I mean, maybe you should obviously have seen the movie and know some lines from it, but, like, what was the audition process for that? And how did you find out about it? Because that's so cool.
So, I've known about Beetle House for years. I used to go when they were first to pop up. And then a few years later, I worked with a guy named Ron, who plays the Michael Keaton Beetlejuice at Universal, and he also plays him at Beetle House. And Ron talked to the manager, and he's like, "You got to check out my buddy. He does an amazing Beetlejuice. Bring him on."
Oh, nice.
So I went to the manager, and then he's like, "All right, so what can you do?" I'm like, "Well, I do Beetlejuice. I can do this or that or the other thing." He's like, "Okay, great. We'll try you out, for a little bit and see what people think."
Great. So he was just like hired.
Yeah,
Like, I see
pretty much. My first group of guests that came in, it was a guy wearing that Robin Thicke Beetlejuice suit.
Nice.
Familiar?
Ooh.
And then 4 ladies with him. I'm like, "Oh my God, Robin Thicke! I'm a huge fan." Miley Run. Anyway, hi guys.
Oh my God.
And he was standing in the back of the room. He fell over laughing.
Yes, so good.
Oh my God. No, that's so great. Do you act, or have you trained as an actor, or are you just have like a really sick impression and you just got like a great job?
So I have trained as an actor. I've been doing it a lot of Shakespeare, a lot of I did Sweeney. I know, look at me, not quite Shakespeare material, but
no, that's just super cool because I mean a lot of people start off with Shakespeare. Who are you in Sweeney?
I was Fogg. I told them I can't sing. They're like, "Okay, great. We believe you. You're going to open the show."
Amazing.
So I'm like, "I don't know how to sing." They're like, "You'll figure it out."
You'll get
I'm
there.
standing up there.
It's fine.
Attend the tale of Sweeney Todd. God, does this sound terrible? I hope not.
I'm sure it was great. I mean, you can also probably just like, it's one of the few musicals that you could probably just like gruff it out or scream it, and it would be like, "Whoa, this is cool and morbid and edgy." Love Sweeney Todd,
It's true.
This is true. Have you been because it's international, of course, because it's YouTube. Have you been watching the National Theatre live things, or do you know what they are? Because I mean, it's a British thing, but
the Broadway streaming or the
It's on the West End, but it's productions from the National Theatre in London that are streaming a lot of, like, a few Shakespeare things, and then a lot of their original productions every Thursday for a week, I think.
Was that with Benedict doing Frankenstein? Because I wanted to see that one.
Oh yeah, maybe that's the creature I'm talking about. I did, although I did more of Johnny's version because he has a very, very slightly different makeup thing, and Johnny walks more like a baby, so like he acts a bit more human as the creature, and Benedict acts a bit more like a creature. Like their interpretations are very different, but they're very good. They did that. They had Johnny and Benedict switching between Frankenstein and the creature at every performance, and they did 66 performances, which is smaller for like a normal. Well, actually, no, that's not even a small run. That's a really long run, especially for celebrities. But like it's this crazy gorgeous. I might do that again, but also, like I said, it takes me 4 hours to do it. And I was a fool the first time I started. I was like, oh, I'll just do this, start at 9 p.m. and then also have time to film videos and make audios and learn the lines of the way that he speaks and the speech pattern. That'll be fine. And then I didn't get to sleep until like 8 a.m. But it was great. It was great. The things you do for the creativity of videos and stuff, because that's, sometimes I'm just like, I stayed up until sunrise because there's a moment in the show, which I don't know if you saw it or if you just know about it, that the creature walks towards the sun because he's seeing the sun for the first time. And so I waited till the sun came up in the morning, and it is a sunrise moment. So I was like, I'll do that. And that was quite fun, but also terrible for my sleep pattern. But time is an illusion.
That video, though, was absolutely, it was gorgeous. So good.
Thank you so much. Oh, my ego. It's inflated. That was so much fun.
As well.
Oh, yeah. I
up till sunrise.
I mean, because also I was about to finish, and I was like an hour away from it, and I was like, I could film the sunrise video, like another... Because I was thinking of, there's a song called The Garden of Eden that happens with it, and my friend had made a video with it or something, and then I was like, okay, who's my friend Azzy, who is my Frankenstein, and they duetted a bunch of my stuff, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm just like an hour away, so I had like 4 coffees that night and like 3 Lucozades, and I was just vibing, I was living, and then I woke up and I made myself some breakfast, and I was like, I'm gonna... after I got out of makeup, I was like, maybe I'll just stay up, because I was going to bed way too late and then waking up way too late. So I was like, maybe if I just stay up the whole day and I go to sleep at a normal time, then I'll be fine. But then I just made myself breakfast, and then I went to sleep until like 5, which was, we love that.
Yeah, wonderful choices.
It wastes some hours of daylight, and you get through it, because that's all we're really up to now, isn't it? Unless you have actual plans or work, you can just be like, I'm just gonna waste some time, or maybe be productive, I guess, if you're a nerd. Just have fun with it. Sleep.
He needs productivity.
Exactly.
Matty? Is Matty here? Or has he disappeared again?
Matty's vanished for a sec.
Matty's vanished. Perry, you take this one.
I'm here.
Oh,
Sorry. So this week I thought we could introduce a new section called Sandy Suggestions, where we give a book, film, show, or game or music recommendation and spread some hype for our favourite underappreciated creators. So, Charlie, what can suggestions?
I'm first. Oh God.
That's great.
It's my script. Yeah, sorry for the really weird name. I couldn't think of anything that rhymed with suggestions or S.
Good.
So Sandy, Sandy, we love her.
Yeah, Sandy popping her head in the window and going, hey, you should watch this.
Hey! So my recommendation is a book this week. It's called They Both Die at the End, and I don't know whether you guys have heard of it, but it's one of my favourite books. I know no... Oh, wait, now I've got a background, no one can see it.
Hilarious.
Matty's gone.
That's all good.
That's fine.
That's all right, it happens.
But... I don't know how to do recommendations really, but
well, what's it about?
So it is about the world they're in have created this sort of app on a phone called Deathcast that will tell you have 24 hours left to live, and you just have to do something with your life. So it's really weird concept, but it's also really good.
I like that.
So there are these 2 guys that meet up. They've both got their death day on the same day. And it's just about their adventures that they get up to and what happens. And it's also kind of gay.
I was about to ask if it was gay. I figured. I mean,
yeah.
Otherwise, if it's not at least kind of gay, then they're just cowards.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's not explicitly stated that it's gay until the end. But also, it is. It's just a really good book, yeah.
Sometimes this is one of those. Yeah, Perry, have you got a recommendation?
Yeah, so I have both of my recommendations are, unlike Charlie's, where obviously you know the book very well. Mine are both, I started them today and I'm currently enjoying. So they could go massively wrong at some point in the future. But for now, I would recommend there's a TV show, Space Force. It started today and it's on Netflix. And every single cast member that has appeared in it so far has been like a slap to the face. It's been like, oh, it's you. And then the next scene happens and someone else walks in and you're like, oh, it's you. And it's literally just a cycle of that, which is great. It's Steve Carell plays the head of the Space Force, which, if you remember, it's a thing that Trump was like, yeah, we need a space force to defend ourselves in space. Carell was like, yeah, let's make a comedy about this. And so it's just a comedy about what this space force could be doing and how it works. And it's just farcical and fun and takes a piss out of the government, which is, what we all need right now.
What's it called?
What's that show with Nick Frost?
Pardon?
What was the show with Nick Frost where he was the commander of a space exploration team?
No idea.
I don't know, but I love that man.
No clue.
It's very similar.
Yeah. Space Force, it's given me, if any of you have seen Avenue 5.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Avenue 5 vibes of just incompetency, but funny.
Sounds amazing.
Again, also, everyone watch Avenue 5. It's so good. So good. That's... what's his name? Hugh Laurie as incompetent space man. I'm just watching a lot of incompetent spacemen at the moment.
We love incompetent.
But also, the book I started, Ballad of Songbird and Snakes. I don't want to be that person, but it's the prequel to the Hunger Games. It's about President Snow. I'm on chapter 1, but I'm reading it and I'm like, oh, I know I'm going to get into this. I just know. So yeah.
I didn't actually know there were any more Hunger Games.
Yeah, it's kind of snuck under the radar a bit. I've seen some posts about it, and then I saw someone post that they were reading it. I was thinking, I didn't think that was out yet, so I got it.
Has it only just come out?
I think it's been like a couple of days, maybe.
Oh, okay.
There's also the new Twilight prequel.
Yeah,
yeah.
We love that that's happening at the same time.
Not prequel,
Isn't it the same one, but just a different perspective again?
It's Twilight from the perspective of Edward.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
Which one's Edward?
Edward's
haven't read Twilight.
The main vampire. The main one.
Oh, God.
Yeah, Edward's the one that glitters and is like...
Don't all the vampires
You know
glitter?
what I am, say it. No, but he's the first one. He's like, there's literally the whole scene in the woods where Bella figures out he's a vampire. And
he's Cedric in Harry Potter,
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There we go.
And he's like, you know what I am. And then he does like a hair toss and he's like, just say it. You know what I... And then it's like this really... Ethan, you've got it down. And then he's just like, you know what I am, say it. And she's like, in the most like... vampire, and it's like, yeah, we know. It's like, yeah, we know.
We know. We've been new. We saw your Google search history, Bella.
So this is disgusting. But my friend who is getting back into Twilight, apparently, there's some facts that the writer of Twilight was talking about like how some things work, of how spoiler alert, Edward gets Bella pregnant, even though he's a vampire. And how it works is that pretty much all of his blood is like jizz, because he doesn't have blood, but it's just like lube material, and also because he hasn't nut in like 150 years, like all of it when he finally has sex, like all of it just goes into Bella, and like. And then they have a baby, and it's like, I hate this so much.
That's worse than J.K. Rowling revealing there was no plumbing in the wizarding world until the 1900s.
There wasn't.
There's no plumbing, so they would shit on the spot and then make it vanish with magic.
You know what?
And but the thing that makes me upset about this is number one, the pipes. What were the pipes for?
Oh.
And number two, fucking the Malfoys, who hate everything Muggle, they absolutely would not have plumbing.
They're still shitting on the floor today. Like, that is their MO.
Yeah, that's just what they do. Yeah, it's the Malfoys.
Maybe they would, and they'd just be like really secretive about it. And so when they're Muggle friends, they'd be like, "Don't go in that room," and everybody thinks it's like this secret like Death Eater room, and it's like, no, it's just where it's a functional toilet with plumbing.
It's just a bathroom with
just a bathroom
plumbing.
Exactly. I mean, with magic, you could do you could do whatever the
But
fuck you
Magic
want.
air freshener?
Absolutely would not.
Who would not?
Voldemort.
What? He would not shit on the floor?
Oh, he would shit on the floor.
He would.
not use the toilet.
Is this how we're gonna rank Harry Potter characters? Would they or would they not shit on the floor if they didn't have plumbing and they just magic it away?
Yeah, I'd love to see Harry's face the moment someone did it.
Oh God!
It's like he's in the Ministry of Magic and just walking around, and someone's just like, "Yep, gonna take a shit, make it vanish right here."
Go take a shit. But
Like,
they have.
Oh my God!
They have toilets.
Oh my God!
They have that.
I imagine it's just the abject horror of, oh, that smell.
Oh
Look at
no!
it.
Oh no!
Oh no!
I mean, at least they can magic it away, so it's something. But where are they? Where does it
Where
go?
does it go to?
Where does it go?
Yeah.
It's just like a terrifying dump of wizard shit.
Maybe there's like a waste disposal guy who just activates it.
The poor janitor, he's trying to clean it up or like whatever, and then another wizard takes a shit and he's like, God, never ends.
Oh, not again!
So this is the true
What
meaning
about,
of Hades Town. It's not Orpheus. It's about people magically shitting elsewhere.
I mean, that would be hell. I think that would be definitely something.
Yeah,
I mean, that would be appropriate.
that's what the workers are doing in Hades Town.
Shoveling shit?
Exactly.
Build a wall? No.
All the shit from the Wizarding World powers Hades factory.
That's why they build the that's why they build the
That's
wall.
why they built the wall.
There we go. That's the answer.
This is why we build a wall, and it's just
Solved
like
it. We've done it.
to keep a little bubble of sanctity. God. Anyway,
Yeah,
we
it takes a whole new meaning to why is it so hot down here.
Why is it so hot down here? It's all the shit around the walls. Oh, I hate this. I love that I've given you the beautiful knowledge that vampire blood is just jizz, and
Yeah, we're sharing some great information here.
we love that.
Okay,
As always, going on topic.
So,
Anyway,
Ben, have you got any suggestions?
as I said last time, League of Gentlemen. Ethan, you said you don't watch as much British TV, but this goes out to you as well because I did say this before. League of Gentlemen, fucking hilarious skit show based in a made-up town called Royston Vasey, and it's all these different characters played by three of the writers. The fourth one makes a few cameos, but he doesn't really act. And just like really brilliant, grotesque characters, and a great plot line, to be honest. And then Inside Number 9, I said last week, but one that I just finished today is Psychoville, which is 9 people get a letter, and it says, like, we know what you did, and they're all connected in some way, and it's kind of showing their connection and the development of their story. And one of them, who's my favourite in the world, is called Mr. Jelly, and the joke is that he keeps getting being called Mr. Jolly, who is his like rival clown, and everybody calls Mr. Jolly Mr. Jelly and Mr. Jelly Mr. Jolly, and that's a running gag. And Mr. Jelly is a disgruntled clown, children's entertainer clown who hates kids, which is just amazing. And he's just such a bastard, and I love bastard clown men. So of course I love the show.
Of course.
So that's definitely
The history show, just bastard clown men. That's the new show.
That's just my type. That's it. That's it.
No clowning around for you.
Well, hopefully. Yeah, but Psychoville is great. I just finished that today, and I miss it. I miss it very much. And then Inside Number 9, like I said last week, is like different, basically like mini plays based somewhere inside a Number 9, like Flat Number 9, House 9, and then there's some other clever iterations of that. And it's got some like plot twists, so it's like a dark comedy, and it's really good with 2 of the writers of League of Gentlemen, and that's what. Now that I've finished that, I don't know what I'm doing. Although I might go and finish Hannibal, but for the faint-hearted, that is not one that you should be watching because it is grotesque, but so good. They've definitely got some homo tension, Hannibal and Will.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Also, I've just remembered. Last week I said watch Upload on Netflix. It's not on Netflix.
It's not on Netflix.
On Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime.
I was looking for it and I couldn't find it.
If you're confused as to where that show I asked you to go watch is, it's not in the place I said it was.
Ethan, what do you recommend? Book, film, TV, game, music, whatever.
So I guess my recommendation for today would be a show called Kim's Convenience on Netflix.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes. Okay. So good.
It's starring Simu Liu, who's now going to be Shang-Chi, if I said that right, in the new Marvel movies.
Oh,
nice.
So great Marvel connection with a relatively unknown at the time.
That's so
and then Waco, if you want something a little bit more serious.
Are these on Netflix?
Yes.
Very nice.
Waco is starring Michael Shannon, and it's about the Waco, Texas cult.
Oh, love a good cult story.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. There's actually a cult that lives next to me in I won't say the name of them because they're basically this like slightly they're a religious cult, and basically the women are dressed modestly and the men kind of dress boring, but that's just how they dress, so there's not really any rules.
I have to know, is it run by a guy named Kevin?
I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah, that took me a minute. I you know what, for my joy's sake, I really hope there is. But yeah, it's super weird. And basically, when you join the cult, as is per cult, you give up all your earthly possessions and money, and you live in this kind of like community which is quite nice, of that idea of like farming for yourself and everything is provided for you, but it just obviously leaves you very, very vulnerable to the cult, because that is all you have. And it's weird and it's fun, but I finally, after like years of living next to them, I googled them, and then I was like, oh okay, they're a cult.
Yeah,
because I thought it was just this religious community, although it did have some dodgy vibes. But yeah, anyway, fun cult story.
Fair enough.
We love a good fun cult story.
Yeah, cults are fun. Ben, 2020.
Cults are fun. Otho taught us that, so
yes,
yeah.
So we know that. I miss the Otho cult.
I do. Yes,
I miss them. That's one I approve of. Charlie.
Yeah, I'm guessing Matty isn't going to be back to give us his recommendation.
Oh yeah, Charlie, you do that one.
Charlie's recommended book. Charlie's already done.
No. The next part of the script.
Ah, okay, fair. Sorry.
Wait, what? Sorry.
The next part of the script.
The next part I think is meant to be me, but we're missing Matty's recommendation, which is fine.
Anyway, shame.
You can recommend next
final
week.
thing. Yeah, we have Otho's life lessons, and this week's gem of wisdom came from my brother driving back from Birmingham in the car, as I tried to think of something to write in the script, and he has said, "Pessimism has never helped anyone. Stay positive and the world will be back to normal, hopefully, soon enough."
How old is your brother?
19.
Okay. That's quite some deep shit on a car ride.
Oh, car rides is where all the deep shit happens.
Yeah. You just shout it out the window, and it's never been said, and it just dissipates into the air, and it's it's out there.
Think that in the car, stay in the car.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Are you guys? Would you guys consider yourselves optimists or pessimists, or not, or just realists?
I like to think I'm an optimist. I go into every day being like, yeah, it could work out okay. So it's like a weird, like nihilistic optimism where it's like nothing matters, so I guess I should be okay.
Oh, I agree. I absolutely agree.
Then I'll have bad days. Like, I have lots of chronic illnesses, and if it's a bad day for those, I'm like, the world sucks. But on other days, I try and compensate. So overall, I'm quite balanced.
Fair enough. Ethan, what about you?
You have to be optimistic. Eventually, the pandemic will subside, and we'll all go back to wishing we had more time off. But you know what?
This is true.
Take advantage of the time that you have.
We'll remember this and we'll be like, no, actually, time off is bad.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
But hey, I started TikTok, and it's interesting.
Yeah, you're killing it.
Yeah.
Killing it. I'm gonna do. Yeah.
I'm going to do today. I have to shoot my thank you for 2000. It's going to be 25 at this point. But
congrats.
What is this? Nerds Room?
Yes.
Nerds.
Yeah.
Thanks for following me, nerds.
Great.
I like it.
That's amazing.
You would, you nerd.
You guys like my joke? Would you nerd?
I miss them. I miss the backstage antics. They will arise. Yeah. But we are living through the recreations of cosplay TikTokers, so of course much appreciated.
Absolutely.
So I think that brings us to the end of the episode. And I think we can all. Somebody has to do it for Matty because he has fucked off once again. But basically, I'll get that. Basically, Ethan. Every episode apart from maybe 2, Matty has disconnected for some reason. Off
and
the
not
call,
come back.
And not come back. Yep. And it was fun the first episode because this was Matty's idea to do the podcast, and thus he was like, "Oh, I'm recording. I got it." And then he died, and then we
had half a recording left.
We had half a recording, and then I had to quickly turn on my voice memos on my phone, and now I have Audacity on my computer, so I'm responsible for that. And so far, that's going all right. But running joke, I appreciate it. He's at least he's consistent. So
I said back in 5, never came back.
Yeah. Absolutely fine. Okay, so what are each of our socials? Ethan, what social would you like to plug?
You can find me under Oberlain, Oberlain, and that's on TikTok, Twitter, and Insta.
Lovely. Perry?
Awesome. I am 4, that's the number 4, Rats in a Trench Coat on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.
Charlie?
Not Twitter. Why did I say Twitter? Instagram and TikTok.
Charlie, what about you?
I am on TikTok and Instagram at foolish_cos because I am an idiot.
Were you reading that? Were you double checking? You're like, I'm because I know you just changed your username recently, and I remember.
I keep on forgetting, but I wasn't reading it.
My TikTok is Benedict Talk, like Benedict and then okay. Because Benedict Talk, because I'm so dad joke.
So good.
So cool.
You can find me, Matty, at Matty Comedy Sure on Instagram and TikTok.
Oh my god, he just
maybe on TikTok that. It changes regularly.
Which is helpful for common listeners, but for anybody who just listened to the first one and maybe poor them, because they've just got to be like...
no, you're not going to find it there.
No, it's not.
And the podcast is on Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, Spotify. We don't have TikTok.
No.
Oh my god, we should make it. Oh my god, we should make a TikTok account.
Because we can all add to it, right?
Yes. Okay, that's happening.
Anyone got a spare email?
Yes,
I
do.
I might for TikTok. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, Perry, you can do that because I don't.
We'll do that after this. Okay. But that will be at the Neither World podcast on all of that and TikTok now.
Because then we could also get guests to post a TikTok announcing that they're going to be guests.
That'd be fun.
Ethan, you may be able to do that this week.
Brainstorming in an episode.
Yes.
Anyway,
Perry, you go for Matty's one.
So thank you again to Ethan for joining us this week. It's great to have you on this week's episode of the Neither World podcast. So to all of you listening, thank you very much again, and we will see you all next week. So goodbye from Perry.
Bye from Charlie.
Bye from Ben, and also the Neither World podcast has all of the Instagram. I don't know what else, Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and stuff at NEITHER World Podcast.
Yes.
Goodbye everybody, and we'll see you again next week. Thank you for tuning in.